All right, Free Radicals, welcome back. My name is Dave, and I am the Radical Independent. Thank you for watching. Suffering a bit from light sensitivity, so hence the sunglasses. Been outdoors a bit, and a lot of activity with my children and so forth today. But my eyes are really hurting me, so I have donned the sunglasses. So just want you to know why I'm doing that. Plus, I think I'm much more cool, and I'd rather be cool than sophisticated. I can get the readers back on, but right now it's the sunglasses. So I want to talk about how Tulsi Gabbard could have handled this endorsement thing. And she could have held on to the people who she supported, or supported her, I should say. She could have held on to all those people, or most of them. Some people would not ever accept the fact that she endorsed Joe Biden, and I understand that. A lot of others don't. But do a video, bow out of your campaign, say, hey, look, the world is in turmoil right now. I have a job to do in Congress. I need to focus on that work. When the time comes, I will make a decision as to who to vote for. This primary is not yet over. But when we have a nominee, I will certainly support the nominee of our party. Of course, I would never ask you to vote for any particular candidate, but I'm letting you know that this is what I'm going to do. First, what that does is it takes the voter off the hook. It says, okay, she's endorsing, or she will endorse, but I don't have to endorse the person she endorses. And that's everybody's right anyway, so that's nothing new, but typically when someone endorses, and we saw that happen when Jim Clyburn endorsed Joe Biden. I mean, South Carolina that thing just turned the election around. Now, for the people who are hung up on election integrity, the election never turned around, but the perception of it was that it turned around. And endorsements do matter. They do mean things. They give people an opportunity to look at a situation and say, okay, she's doing this because she believes he's the lesser of two evils. And they can think for themselves. People know instinctively who to vote for. They don't need someone to endorse for them to just follow along. But if the platforms are similar and the endorsement makes sense, sure, more people will follow along with that. In the case of Joe Biden, that doesn't make any sense. So the endorsement could have easily been brushed off until later, like Elizabeth Warren is doing. Bernie Sanders is still running for president. The endorsement would have taken a little bit more pressure off of her if it was done after Bernie drops out, if he does drop out. I have a hunch Bernie is staying in for a while, because if you look at Joe Biden, he can't get through sentences. Now, everybody's talking about Andrew Cuomo now because he's showing all this great leadership up in New York, supposedly. I don't know if that's true or not, but he's up there taking control of a situation, which is pretty much out of control up there. So, again, your leader who's in charge typically takes the blame for the things that are happening, even if it's not their fault. And as much as I think it's wrong, it's very traditional, and it's always been that way. You know, if you're in office and the economy is great and you had nothing to do with it, you get credit for it. It's just the way it works. As far as, endorsing somebody who, again, like I said in the last video, forget the ideology. Just look at the man's condition right now. I don't know if that's a responsible thing to do. I think it's too early. I think it sends a weird message to all the people that supported you. It certainly sends a message to Bernie Sanders that, hey, I could have endorsed you, but he didn't want it, so I'm going to go and endorse Biden. That's the rumor. If that had been transparent and people heard that out loud, that wouldn't have gone over very well. And you can sense that that's actually what happened. So that's another reason why I'm a little ticked off at this. Because it appears that this was kind of a move, I won't say revenge, but out of spite. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to accuse somebody that I just think has got great moral character. I don't like accusing them of something like this, but I'm running out of options. You know, I'm looking at this going, this doesn't make sense on so many levels. There must have been some sort of additional circumstance that we don't know about that precipitated this very rash and somewhat irrational 180-degree turn. Because that's what it was. But the easy way to endorse, even if you're going to endorse Biden later on, would be, because unifying the party, it doesn't need, if you think the primary is effectively over, then there's no need to endorse anybody. Just sit back. I know about the pledge. I'm not saying you don't endorse at the end of it. Does the pledge specify that you must endorse as soon as you drop out? Because if it does, Elizabeth Warren violated that pledge. And you can make the argument that, hey, Bernie's still running, but, everybody knows Joe's going to win this. Look, this is going to be a brokered convention, or they're going to, maybe they'll spring Andrew Cuomo on everybody. And you know what? I think Democrats would do that. And I think anybody no one's going to riot against not picking Joe Biden as the nominee. Biden can't even get like 100 people to show up for one of his events. So the Biden people aren't going to be like, oh. Once they hear Biden speak in public, they start looking around going, wow, he really has trouble talking. And Cuomo doesn't. So again, it's a really low bar. Cuomo can talk, Biden can't. And that's why this is crazy, because Tulsi endorsed a guy who can barely talk. And she didn't need to. Yeah, he might have a good heart. There are a lot of people politically that probably have really good hearts and they think they're doing the right thing and so forth. But they're not for the working class. They look for ways to, their instinctive thing, even Nancy Pelosi did this with the big stimulus package that's coming our way, is, oh, no, we have to means test it. We can't just give it away. Really? Because on Wall Street, they're just giving it away. They're just pumping money into a system that's collapsing every single day. So, again, there's a softer, gentler, not as specific way to do this. And you say, well, that's not what she is. Oh, this has nothing, in fact, this would align with her values so much better. And if you look at how she ran her campaign, and then toward the end when everybody thought, well, she's going to drop out, she's got to drop out, and she finally did, but she took an awful long time to drop out of the race. So much so that Mayor Pete was on Jimmy Kimmel making jokes about it. And it was stupid, it was a dumb joke, and I was offended by it because I was thinking Tulsi is in there to fight the system. She's going to go right to the convention, and she's going to get there, and they're going to need her more than ever. But I think she knew that she would not survive a neoliberal onslaught from the near-attendant crowd. There's just no way that she would make it through. And she chose to stop. Even though everybody else has chose to continue, she chose to stop. And when I say everyone, I mean a lot of her supporters have just continued. So, just to summarize here, hi, I'm Tulsi Gabbard. I thank you all. We had a great campaign together. I've decided to suspend my campaign, but I'm still fighting in Congress. for the causes that we care about, talk about the regime change wars, talk about all the big platform issues, and then just go off into the sunset. The endorsement comes later. It's done quietly. It's done without the fanfare. It's dumped maybe on a Friday afternoon news cycle when we're not in the situation we are in now. That's typically where you bury news. You put it in there. You fulfill your pledge. And it's not a high-profile thing. It's not enthusiastic. And everybody can go and just say, okay, she did what she had to do. In this case, it looks as though she did way more than she had to do and way too fast out of the box. But who am I? People keep saying, well, you have no idea. She's better than you. She's got more character. Sure. She served the country. She's gone to war. And then she came back and she protested against the war they sent her to. But she's kind of advocating for more of the same type of war stuff. Like, hey, if those terrorists are in caves, we need to go get them. Really? It's 20 years worth of that, and I thought that's what we were trying to get away from. Some missions are good. Some missions are not. I would say right now, pretty much everything we've done since World War II has not been a good mission. Just throwing it out there. There may be a couple of missions here or there. If they're not humanitarian in nature, or if they're not fixing the stuff that we broke, which is called nation building, and people would say, well, that's a waste of our taxpayer dollars, and we did it to begin with. Yes, but we're cleaning up the mess that we made. And this keeps the defense contractors happy, and keeps the stock market going up and so forth. It's an endless cycle. It's an infinite, endless, just abyss of we're just dumping money and resources, and we're not getting anything from it. And that was one of the reasons I supported Tulsi Gabbard. And then she went and she supported somebody who supports the thing that I don't support. So I'm not sure how any of this helps Tulsi Gabbard in the long run. I want a fringe politician. How's that? I want somebody who's on the edge. I don't want somebody who's in the middle, who's right in the middle of Neo-Conville or Neo-Libville. I'm a radical independent. I am not a conformist, and I can think for myself. So it's pretty simple. But there was a better way to handle this endorsement, and I've just outlined it, and it's easy to understand, and it's non-offensive, does not offend those people who you pledge the endorsement to, and it doesn't offend the people who think it's a little radical to go out so quickly on a limb and to give such a glowing endorsement when the person you're endorsing is clearly in cognitive decline. So that's it. That's my video. Thanks for watching. See you soon.